The last message at midnight. Everyone thinks they know what regret feels like. But regret is strange. It doesn't always come all at once. Sometimes it arrives years later. Sometimes it arrives at exactly midnight. And sometimes it arrives as a text message from someone who died 3 years ago. 3 years earlier, my younger sister Mia and I had our last argument. It was stupid. The kind of argument siblings have. Something about money. Something about responsibility. Honestly, I don't even remember exactly what started it. But I remember what I said. I told her not to call me again. I told her I was done. Those were the last words I ever spoke to her. 2 days later, she died. A drunk driver. 24 years old. Gone instantly. And just like that. There were no apologies. No second chances. Nothing. For years, I blamed myself. My parents blamed themselves. Everyone grieved. But I carried something heavier. Because I knew what my last words had been. And no matter how much time passed, I couldn't forgive myself. Eventually, life moved on. At least on the outside. I got married. Started a family. Found a decent job. But every year on the anniversary of her death, I would visit her grave. And every year, I would say the same thing. I'm sorry. 3 years after the accident, on the exact date she died, I stayed home alone. My wife had taken the kids to visit her parents. Around 11:58 p.m., I was sitting in the living room watching television. Rain tapped softly against the windows. The house was quiet. Too quiet. Then my phone vibrated. Unknown number. I ignored it. A second later, a text message appeared. Are you awake? I frowned. Spam, probably. Then another message arrived. I don't have much time. I sat up. Something about the wording felt strange. Then the third message arrived. And the blood drained from my face. It's me. Mia. I laughed nervously. Someone had to be playing a cruel joke. It had to be. I typed back. Who is this? Almost immediately, the reply came. You still have my old bracelet. My hands froze. No one knew about the bracelet. Not my wife. Not my parents. Not anyone. After Mia died, I had quietly taken the bracelet from her room. I kept it hidden in my desk drawer. The phone vibrated again. Second drawer. Under the papers. My heart nearly stopped. Slowly, I stood. Walked to my desk. Opened the second drawer. And there it was. Exactly where she said. I couldn't breathe. The messages continued. I know you're scared. I'm scared too. Tears filled my eyes. No. This couldn't be happening. But a part of me wanted to believe. Needed to believe. I typed. Mia. 3 dots appeared. Then. I'm sorry I left angry. I broke down. For 3 years, I had replayed our final conversation. Blamed myself. Punished myself. And now, these messages. Whether real or not, they felt like mercy. For the next 30 minutes, we talked. About our childhood. About Mom. About Dad. About stupid things only she would remember. Things nobody else knew. About stupid things only she would remember. Things nobody else knew. At 12:31 a.m., I finally asked, Where are you? There was a long pause. Then one sentence appeared. I'm not where I thought I'd be. A chill ran through me. I typed, What do you mean? Another pause. Longer this time. Then, something is wrong. The rain outside intensified. Thunder shook the house. And another message appeared. I can hear people crying. Then, they don't know they're dead. My stomach tightened. I stared at the screen. The typing bubble appeared. Disappeared. Returned. Then, I don't think I'm supposed to be here. Every hair on my arm stood up. I typed quickly. Mia, what are you talking about? The reply came instantly. I found my phone. That's how I'm talking to you. I felt cold all over. No. Impossible. Her phone had been destroyed in the crash. We buried it with her. Another message. I hear someone coming. They're looking for me. Then. They are angry. Lightning flashed outside. Every light in my house went out. Complete darkness. My phone screen became the only source of light. And then, a photograph arrived. My blood froze. It was blurry, dark, but unmistakable. Rows and rows of people, standing in complete darkness, faces pale, expressionless, looking directly at the camera. And behind them, something tall, something impossible, watching. The next message appeared. It sees me. My hands trembled. Mia, get away from it. 3 dots appeared. Then, I can't. Another message. It knows I shouldn't be talking to you. The typing stopped. 30 seconds passed. 1 minute. Then finally, a single message appeared. And I wish I had never read it. Because it wasn't from Mia. It simply said, "You answered." Every light in the house turned back on. My front door slowly creaked open. And from somewhere inside my home, I heard my sister's voice. Soft, terrified, whispering, "Run." The end. A final question. If the last message wasn't from Mia, then who answered her phone? About stupid things only she would remember. Things nobody else knew. At 12:31 a.m., I finally asked, "Where are you?" There was a long pause. Then one sentence appeared. "I'm not where I thought I'd be." A chill ran through me. I typed, "What do you mean?" Another pause. Longer this time. Then, "Something is wrong." The rain outside intensified. Thunder shook the house. And another message appeared. "I can hear people crying." Then, "They don't know they're dead." My stomach tightened. I stared at the screen. The typing bubble appeared, disappeared, returned. Then, "I don't think I'm supposed to be here." Every hair on my arm stood up. I typed quickly, "Mia, what are you talking about?" The reply came instantly. "I found my phone. That's how I'm talking to you." I felt cold all over. No. Impossible. Her phone had been destroyed in the crash. We buried it with her. Another message. "I hear someone coming. They're looking for me." Then, "They are angry." Lightning flashed outside. Every light in my house went out. Complete darkness. My phone screen became the only source of light. And then, a photograph arrived. My blood froze. It was blurry, dark, but unmistakable. Rows and rows of people, standing in complete darkness, faces pale, expressionless, looking directly at the camera. And behind them, something tall, something impossible, watching. The next message appeared. It sees me. My hands trembled. Mia, get away from it. 3 dots appeared. Then, I can't. Another message. It knows I shouldn't be talking to you. The typing stopped. 30 seconds passed. 1 minute. Then finally, a single message appeared. And I wish I had never read it. Because it wasn't from Mia. It simply said, "You answered." Every light in the house turned back on. My front door slowly creaked open. And from somewhere inside my home, I heard my sister's voice. Soft, terrified, whispering, "Run." The end. A final question. If the last message wasn't from Mia, then who answered her phone? Part 2. He let it in. The message on my phone read, "He let it in." I hadn't seen those words before. Not from Mia. Not from my daughter. Not from anyone. And somehow, I knew immediately who he was. Noah, my great-grandson. The first person in our family in nearly a century who had answered. I called his parents. No answer. I called Noah. Straight to voicemail. By the time I reached their house, the sun was rising. And something felt wrong. Terribly wrong. The front door stood open. The television was on. Breakfast sat untouched on the table. But the house was silent. Too silent. Noah. No answer. His parents appeared moments later. Pale. Terrified. They had spent the entire night searching. Noah had vanished. His bedroom window was open. And his phone was gone. The police searched for weeks. Nothing. No footprints. No signs of struggle. No ransom note. No clues. Nothing. Until 27 days later. Noah came home. Walking barefoot down the street. Alone. Exactly like my grandfather's journal had described. Exactly like something else I had almost forgotten. The story of a little boy named Ethan. A boy who had disappeared and returned changed. Noah remembered nothing. At least, that's what he claimed. But his mother noticed strange things. He no longer slept. He sat awake for hours, staring into corners, smiling at nothing, sometimes laughing quietly, sometimes speaking to empty rooms. And always, at exactly midnight, his phone vibrated. One evening, I asked him directly, "Who are you talking to?" Noah smiled. "My brother." A chill went through me. "Ethan." He nodded. "He's lonely." "What does he say?" Noah's smile widened. "He says he found lots of people." My blood froze. Lots of people. Not one voice. Not one spirit. Lots. Then Noah said something that haunted me. He says they don't know they're dead. Those exact words. The same words Mia had sent me decades earlier. Noah stood up. And for one horrifying second, his expression changed. Not evil. Not angry. Just empty. He says you're the reason they keep hiding. My heart stopped. Who? Noah tilted his head. The people behind the voices. Then he whispered, "They're afraid of you." Before I could respond, he collapsed. When he woke up, he remembered nothing. But things kept getting worse. Neighbors reported seeing Noah standing outside their windows at night. Cameras showed him walking through the neighborhood while asleep. Always between 12 o'clock and 12:17 a.m. Always speaking to someone unseen. Then one morning, his mother found hundreds of pages hidden beneath his bed. Every page covered in the same sentence. "It's getting closer." Thousands of times. Written in different handwriting. Different ink. Different styles. As if dozens of people had written the same message. And on the final page, only 5 words appeared. Words written in MIA's handwriting. Handwriting I recognized instantly. I found where they hide. My hands trembled. And because
below
Mia
her
had
words,
died 60 years
someone
earlier,
else
had written another sentence. Not in her handwriting. Not Noah's. Not anyone's. A sentence that made me feel colder than I had ever felt in my life. Don't let them answer. Then, underneath that, in shaky letters, one final message. A message written by Noah himself. Or so I thought. Until I noticed the date. The page had been written 10 years in the future. And the message said, "I'm still alive." That was the moment I realized something terrible. The dead weren't trying to reach us. They never had been. They were hiding. And whatever called at midnight was hunting them. And now, because Noah answered, it knew where to look. To be continued. Part 3. The voices were hiding from something worse. I didn't sleep that night. How could I? For 70 years. I had believed that whatever answered the phones at midnight was the enemy. The listener. The thing that mimicked the dead. The thing my sister had warned me about. But now, everything I thought I knew was falling apart. The dead weren't trying to reach us. They were hiding. And whatever called at midnight was hunting them. Noah had answered. And somehow, he had shown it where they were. I sat alone in my living room staring at the page written 10 years in the future. I'm still alive. Those 4 words haunted me. Because if Noah had written them, then somehow, somewhere, he survived. But where? And from what? 3 nights later, I got my answer. At exactly midnight, every phone in the house rang simultaneously. Not just mine. Everyone's. My daughter. My grandson. Even the old landline that hadn't worked in 20 years. Ring. 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 Then silence. And one text appeared. Not from an unknown number. Not from Mia. Not from Noah. Just one sentence. They found the door. Before I could process the message, Noah screamed. Not a normal scream. Pure terror. The kind that comes from seeing something no human mind should ever see. We rushed into his room. He was sitting upright in bed, crying, shaking, and pointing at the closet. The hallway. The hallway's back. My blood froze. What hallway? The one with all the phones. Every hair on my body stood up, because I had seen it. Not in real life, but in dreams. 4 decades. An endless corridor. Thousands of ringing telephones. Voices trapped inside them. Calling. Begging. Crying. I thought they were nightmares. But Noah was describing the exact same place. And he'd never heard me speak of it. Then he whispered something that changed everything. Ethan's there. My heart stopped. Ethan. My brother. And Aunt Mia. And Grandpa. And everyone. His voice trembled. They are hiding. Because the thing with no face is waking up. The room suddenly became ice cold. The lights dimmed. And from inside Noah's closet, a phone began ringing. Impossible. There was no phone in there. Never had been. Ring. 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 Noah burst into tears. Don't answer it. But the voice that came next wasn't Noah's. It wasn't mine. And it wasn't human. It came from inside the closet. Deep. Ancient. And empty. I've been lonely. The closet door slowly creaked open. Darkness spilled out. Not shadow. Not blackness. Absence. The absence of everything. And standing inside it was something that shouldn't exist. No eyes. No mouth. No face. Just a shape. And yet, I somehow knew it was looking directly at me. Noah screamed. And then another voice echoed from inside the darkness. Mia. Run. Suddenly hundreds of voices erupted from the closet. Thousands. People crying. Shouting. Fighting. Not against us. Against it. And among those voices, I heard my daughter. My wife. My mother. Even my daughter, my grandfather, my wife, holding it back. My mother, keeping it contained. 4 generations. Not dead. Not alive. Just resisting. Then Noah stepped forward. And for the first time since Ethan died, he smiled. Not because he was happy. Because he recognized something. Ethan. A hand emerged from the darkness. A teenage hand. And then Ethan stepped out. Exactly 15 years old. The age he had been when he drowned. Noah collapsed, sobbing. Ethan. The brothers embraced. And for one beautiful moment, everything else disappeared. The darkness. The voices. The horror. None of it mattered. Because two brothers had found each other again. But Ethan was crying. Noah. His voice broke. You have to let me go. Noah shook his head. No. Tears streamed down Ethan's face. You answering wasn't a mistake. It helped me find you. But if you keep holding on. He looked toward the faceless thing. It'll find everyone. Noah fell apart. He had spent 13 years wishing for one more chance. And now, he had it. Only to lose him again. Ethan smiled sadly. We only borrowed each other. The exact words William Harper had once spoken. And suddenly I understood. Love was never meant to trap. Not the living. Not the dead. Love lets go. The faceless thing roared. The walls shook violently. Phones rang all around us. Reality itself seemed to crack. Then Noah whispered the hardest words of his life. It's okay. You can go. Ethan smiled. And for the first time, he looked peaceful. He hugged his little brother one final time, then stepped backward into the light behind him. And suddenly, millions of voices rose together. Not screaming, singing. A sound so beautiful that I still cry when I remember it. The faceless thing began breaking apart. Not because it was defeated, but because it had nothing left to feed on. No grief, no guilt, no refusal, only love. And love was something it could never understand. The darkness collapsed. The ringing stopped. And the closet became just a closet again. Noah is 25 now. He smiles again, laughs again, lives again. And every year, on Ethan's birthday, he leaves 2 slices of cake on the table. One for himself, one for his brother. Neither of us have received another message. No midnight calls. No unknown numbers. Nothing. Except, 3 months ago, my doctor gave me news. The kind of news men my age eventually receive. I don't have much time left. And strangely, I'm not afraid. Because every now and then, just before midnight, my phone lights up. No number. No message. Just a photograph. The same photograph. Over and over. A bright field beneath a summer sky. And standing there are Mia, my wife, my daughter, Ethan, and dozens of others. Smiling. Waiting. Not trapped. Not hiding. Just waiting. And every year, there's one more empty space in the picture. Right beside them. Reserved. For someone who will eventually come home. The end.